Meanwhile, in Tampa, Florida, the action is just as intense as a crowd of over 50,000 screaming race fans is ready to witness this man do what he does best. Quite simply, survive. He'll take a full-body passenger car up these ramps and into this mountain of metal. Brian Carson, one of the world's most legendary stuntmen, will perform his art in front of a packed house here at Tampa Stadium. A 1971 Chevy Chevelle with a 350 cubic inch engine, picked on the basis of its horsepower and its heavy weight. You need the mass to hit that wall and try and blast through it rather than get stuck to it. Right now, though, Carson steps into the cockpit of the machine and puts on his sole mode of safety equipment, the lap belt and the fireproof Nomex head sock from Speed Sport uniforms and the fireproof gloves. Remember that Brian Carson's claim to fame is that he drives passenger cars into these mountains of metal without the benefit of a roll cage or roll bar. As Brian Carson himself has said so many times before on the 1991 U.S. Highway Association Monster Truck Challenge Series, a daredevil creates the illusion of danger, while the kind in the face. Carson must achieve a speed, believe it or not, of 62 miles per hour on dirt when he hits the ramps. And notice that the ramps themselves are two independent ramps. He's got to have this car lined up perfectly within a foot either way to hit this jump and make it successfully into that stack of vehicles. The biggest difficulty for this particular attempt is the fact that in order to enter Tampa Stadium, Carson must come in from outside the stadium itself and make a hard left turn at speed in order to line up with the ramps. Remember, no roll bar, no roll cage, simply a lap belt, a helmet, and fire equipment. Here comes Brian Carson, ready for his attempt. He slows the machine down, rides it up the ramp, and takes one last look at the giant red X that marks the spot where he hopefully will impact that wall at 62 miles per hour. The crowd obviously behind him all the way, sending up huge cheers to wish him on his way to a hopefully successful attempt here in Tampa Stadium. Now, as he heads out to the parking lot area, Brian Carson must make a complete U-turn and line up in what is originally a maintenance equipment entrance to the floor of Tampa Stadium. The crowd waits, holding their breath. And here comes the Speed Sport Chevelle. Carson makes the turn on dirt, now floors the throttle. Unbelievable impact. The car upside down. Everything around the impact point is on fire. There you see the car upside down, charred from the flaming impact. The ground crew spraying fire extinguishers inside the car itself, but look at the fires burning around the floor upon impact. But still no word at this point for the safety crews on the ground of Carson's condition. It looked like the car may have dropped the nose slightly just before impact, which is one of the worst possible scenarios for Brian Carson. You must hit that wall straight, perfectly head on, or the car is going to flip, or at very worst, hit the actual wall with the roof of the car. And when you're not dealing with a roll cage, it's the worst possible situation. Now we finally see Carson out of the machine. He appears to be moving, but he is obviously not on his feet yet. Carson being helped up by the paramedics. And he's on his feet. Unbelievable.
Brian, do you feel like talking at this point?
Your big concern was making that left-hand turn on dirt, and you told us that you might not even be able to hit 50 before you made that turn. You're going to have to make up the rest of the 15 miles an hour or so between there and the ramps. You did it. It was a perfect hit, but I've never seen such a fireball.
I'll tell you, it was hot in there, and all week we didn't know if we could get the speed, and Harrison, that's their own pace, and they work with us. And you know, this place is made for the Giants to win football games, not for us car stunts.
It is absolutely incredible that you would even attempt this risk, because quite frankly, you know as well as the rest of us that a lot of people said you're a fool and this is one you're not going to get out of. It can't be done, yet you insisted on trying it. Why?
Well, there's a lot of people in this business, and they say they're going to do this and that, and all you can do is keep your word and try to live up to it. I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen, and I think we got a hell of a wreck here. All I can say is God bless you, Tampa Bay. God bless the USA. Thank you.
Brian Carson, simply unbelievable. But as if that was not Wild Truck Championship Dash, Ford and Chevrolet don't go away.
You probably.
We're back at the Roanoke Civic Center in Roanoke, Virginia, as we prepare for the final battle. The final two drivers left. There's Rob Fuchs' trademark spin to stage. The number 1 and number 2 qualifiers, Ford and Chevy, Missouri and Illinois. Kurt Fisher, in his first ever U.S.HRA Association race, takes on the winningest truck of the year. And another hole shot for the kid. First blood cannot make up the difference. In his first U.S.HRA Association event ever, Fisher wins.
Kurt, this is your first win for 1991.
First weekend I've been out since 1990, so I feel real good about it. We had a good night. Last week we had a little breakage, but this time we came out on top.
So are you pleased with the performance of the track? Last time you didn't have very good luck out here.
Yeah, I'm real pleased. Tonight, for some reason, just everything went our way, and we wanted it, and we got it.
Congratulations again, Kurt.
Thank you.
Kurt Fisher takes the win over First Blood in a final round of competition at the Roanoke Civic Center.
Certainly one has to admit that Brian Carson does things that nobody else would dare do. But in this particular instance, one of the single most violent stunts we have ever witnessed, he walked out unscathed yet again. Another incredible job for Brian Carson.
And that's a wrap from the Roanoke Civic Center in beautiful Roanoke, Virginia. I'm Kris Chapman. Good night. I've had a great time. I'm sure you at home have. We'll see you next time.
This has been a GRB Entertainment production in association with ESPN.